learning how extra money can be made from home at Online Trading Academy. Learn about stocks, options, futures, and Forex. Here's a trading tip from one of the instructors.
You see what we've done at the Academy? We've taken this and we've simplified it down to just the basic factors that you need. There's a set of rules, follow them. There's a scoring system. If it scores greater than 7, take the trade. Set the trade up, walk away and forget it with 3 major components: a stop, an entry, and a target. You don't know what those mean? Come in, we'll teach you those.
Online Trading Academy. Learn the right way to trade stocks and more. Thousands have learned how extra money can be made from home and how risk is limited. See how it works. Reserve a pair of seats at a free half-day class in Broward and Palm Beach. Call now. Online Trading Academy, 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 and 95.3 FM. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Experts show with local celebrity host Steve-O. Sit back each week while Steve-O educates you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O with today's expert in their field.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to another Ask the Experts show where we bring you South Florida's finest lawyers, doctors, home improvement companies. Today, we have our criminal attorney, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes, believe it or not, talking about DUI. We've just been sitting here. I'm sitting here with Antonio Valente. He's an attorney. Now, he's out of Dade County, but he practices in Palm Beach County and Broward. And we've just been sitting here talking for the last 10 minutes. I was shocked the things that I found out, and we're going to share all those with you today. If you have a criminal law question, especially DUI, you can give us a call at 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. Welcome, Antonio.
How you doing, Steve?
Well, this is your second show. It's going to be so much better.
Feel like a veteran.
It's a little scary, that first show, because you don't know what to expect. But listen, we just got through talking about a few things that we're going to get to. But first, tell everybody about your criminal law practice.
Okay, so my firm is it's Valiente Law. We are primarily based out of, we have an office in downtown Miami, however, also practice out of Broward and Palm Beach. We have offices in both Broward and Palm Beach near the criminal courthouses in both. I'd say the vast majority of our practice is criminal. We do have an associate that specializes in family law issues. However, primarily we're criminal defense.
Bro, I'm sitting here looking at you, and you look like Charlie Sheen. Has anyone ever told you that?
I haven't gotten Charlie Sheen. I've gotten some other ones. I don't know.
All you women out there, if you actually, you can be watching us right now by going to www.wwnnradio.com, or you can go to your website, and I think the show is up there. Give everybody your website.
It's valientelaw.com, VALIENTELAW.com.
We have a first phone call.
Okay, so I was going to say Charlie Sheen. No, I've got maybe Tom Cruise, but like taller.
Charlie, I'm telling you.
I don't know if I like Charlie Sheen. Not that I like him. I do like Charlie Sheen.
A little crazy. Hey, let's go to our first caller. Is it Teren? Caller? No? I guess we lost him.
It's a tease.
Hey, call back. It's 888-565-1470 if you've got a DUI question.
Or criminal law related.
Antonio's also a criminal law, so we can do drug possession, anything having to do with criminal law, but we're going to try to talk a lot today about DUI. So you're telling us about your firm. So you do practice in Dade County.
Yeah, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Just not that we would ever advise anybody to commit a crime. However, if you do, avoid Broward. I was in court in Broward for a while today, and it was just reminding me that, Broward they don't mess around in Broward.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just.
I heard the Broward jail is really a tough jail, too.
Well, it's actually a whole lot nicer than the Dade County Jail, but I mean, I guess that's all relative, right?
Yeah,
Talking
jail
about
is pretty
jails.
bad no matter.
But prosecutors are pretty tough there. I mean, just DUI specifically, Dade County has a diversion program. Palm Beach has a diversion program.
Tell me what a diversion program is.
Broward does not. So, diversion program, if it's your first time picking up a DUI, and there hasn't been an injury, it's not like a DUI manslaughter or anything like that, and there wasn't a child in the car, and you didn't blow like 3 times the legal limit, you'll be eligible for in either Palm Beach or Dade County. It's essentially a program that you go into. It's not like a halfway house, like you live there or anything like that. You just go sign up, and you'll have like a case manager, check in with them maybe once a month or so, and you'll have to do pretty much the same.
Is it kind of like probation?
Well, probation is after you've taken a guilty plea. The big difference with diversion is you don't plead guilty. You know, before pleading guilty, they kind of hit the pause button on the trial case, and they'll say, all right, you go basically do what we tell you to do. In Dade and Palm Beach, it's pretty standard. It's, for the most part, you have to do the same thing that you would have to do if you did plead guilty to a DUI. However, you're doing it, without having to plead guilty. You're going to have to do
DUI.
DUI.
So it doesn't go on your record as admission to guilt.
Well, so that's correct. If you successfully complete the program, which means doing the DUI school, doing depending on whether you blew or not, and if you did, how high you blew, will determine if you need to put a ignition interlock device, which is that device you put on. They install on your car where you have to blow before you can turn it on. Yeah, which it's not just before you turn it on. So if you try to be sneaky and have a friend blow for you, no. 5 minutes after you're driving, it beeps and you got to blow again. And then it's continuous every 15 or 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, you do all of those things within 6 months or 9 months. Then when you can go back into court, they'll reduce your DUI charge to a reckless driving, which is a less serious crime to start off with. Instead of a first-degree misdemeanor, it's a second-degree misdemeanor, and you'll get a withhold of adjudication, meaning it's not going to affect your insurance. You're not going to get points on your license. A DUI is a mandatory adjudication, so if you do plead guilty, you are convicted of it, as opposed to a reckless driving.
Do you go to prison the first time?
No.
Okay.
No, on a regular DUI, you won't. I mean, it's a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by a maximum of 364 days in the county jail. If we're talking DUI manslaughter, serious, or if it's your third or subsequent DUI within a certain number of years, then it'll be a felony. There certainly are plenty of people in Florida prisons because of DUIs, but not their first.
God, we're hearing so much, and I want to get back, but you hear so much about illegal immigrants who were pulled over or were in an accident. DUI. That's a whole different story, isn't it? In other words, if they're an illegal immigrant and they get pulled over for a DUI, or if they have a wreck, what happens to them?
So the police shouldn't ask on the scene. They're not going to ask whether or not you're
okay.
What your immigration status is. I guess the kind of asterisk next to that statement is that it's right now with what's going on with the new president that we have,
right?
all of his new policies, and he's obviously very strict on when it comes to immigration. A lot of things might change, and I mean, as it is, immigration law changes really, like, it can change day to day.
Wow.
So it's I would definitely say that's one thing to kind of keep in mind, that what I say today might be,
we're going to talk about now, because we actually had, from our last show, we had 2 or 3 people email us with the same question. You're pulled over. You're asked to take a breathalyzer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take the breathalyzer test or not?
So when you
Let's go to this caller.
we
I
got
don't
a
wanna
caller.
lose him
Let's go to
again.
the caller.
Let's go to Teren. I hope I pronounced it right. Teren?
Yes, how are you?
Good. Do you have a question for our attorney, Antonio Valente?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I got a third DUI. I was in a parking lot. I fell asleep. I was not driving, and my vehicle has a touch, a push-button ignition. So I must have hit it with my wrist or something. But I was not driving. I fell asleep. I did not choose to blow in the when I was asked. And within the 10 years, this would be my third one.
Okay.
So my question is, I'm going to court here in the next couple weeks, and I'm trying to kind of see what to look forward to.
So they charged it as just a regular DUI misdemeanor?
They did a regular DUI misdemeanor, correct?
Okay. So one of the things that's interesting about this, about what this situation he just mentioned, which a lot of people, it's one of the questions we get a lot too, is people want to be responsible, and let's say they leave a bar, they leave a club, whatever, and they don't want to drive. They drove there, they don't want to drive home, but they think they're doing it. Most people would probably agree they're doing the responsible thing. Let me get in like the back seat of my car or something like that, and just fall asleep. And when I wake up, I'll be okay, and then I'll drive home.
Correct.
Unfortunately, well, as you know, that if you're even that situation, you can be charged with DUI. Even if you're in the passenger seat, if you're in the
And you're
back
not
seat,
driving.
you're not driving. I mean, I think Turin, you said that your vehicle has a push button ignition, and you must have turned it on. Even if you hadn't turned it on, if the vehicle was off, he can still legally be charged with a DUI because he is in actual physical control of a motor vehicle while his normal faculties are impaired. And so when they, wake you up and have you do the field sobriety exercises, have you blow or not blow, and I'm sorry, Terry, did you say you did not blow, correct?
Correct.
And then did you have were you charged with refusal to submit as well?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so that's another thing, which if you don't blow, one consequence is that most likely you're going to be charged with a separate crime, which is refusing to submit to a...
Did you get charged with a second crime?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you going in? Do you have an attorney?
I do.
Okay. Because this is pretty serious now.
Right.
If it's his third one.
Third within 10, so I mean it's not, third within 5 would be a little bit more, would be more serious. So it's, just knowing now that, that he does have an attorney, I kind of want to...
Yeah, be careful what you say.
Be careful what I say and defer to sort of, what he's telling you to expect. I don't want to say something, get your hopes up, or the opposite, get your hopes down. And it could be that, you actually have a great defense, which is one of the reasons that I think everyone charged with DUI, whether it's their first one, whether they're going to just be accepted into a diversion program, should at the very least, consult with an attorney, even if you don't end up hiring them, because every case is different. Every county is different. Are you in, what county did this happen in?
This happened in Deerfield Beach, Broward County.
Broward, okay. Yeah, so, well, I mean, you wouldn't be eligible for a diversion program anyway, but Broward doesn't have one. So, every judge is different. The prosecutors are different. So he's going to have to, I would, there are statutory minimums that if you end up having to accept a plea, there are certain minimums that, that you would be facing. Like I said, I'd probably recommend talk to your counsel about that.
Right. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, good luck to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wow. Second show, are your first caller already? Man, it's tough out there.
It is. No, and
but here he's trying to do the right thing.
It is. It's one of those. It's like I said. It's one of those things that we get asked a lot. I have a client right now, actually, who I was in court with yesterday in Dade County. It was his first DUI, but it was that situation. He pulled over on the side of the road, got into the back seat, turned the car off, and still had the keys there. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, I mean, even though it's probably unsafe and not the best idea, it's like, get out of the car, leave the keys outside of the car, give someone else the keys to the car. Like, if you can't physically turn if there's no way you being inside the car could turn it on, then you can't be in actual physical control of that
right.
of that vehicle.
So he would have been okay if he hadn't turned the car on, whether it was on purpose or accidentally.
No, not necessarily. If he had the keys on him, meaning he could just reach over and turn the car on.
Okay.
He could still be charged. The idea being that, you could be pulled over on the side of the road. You could be behind the wheel. Maybe just you stopped to, I don't know. You spilled your beer on the floorboard of your car, for example, and a cop stops behind you, and you jump into the back seat. Right? I mean, they're going to say, well, you can't use that as a defense,
right,
so to speak. Like, hey, well, I wasn't in the driver's seat. I couldn't have driven the vehicle. It's like, no, you could have just
So basically,
jumped back
if you're
there.
at a bar, he never said if he was at a bar or not, but if he had been drinking, he would have been much better just calling a cab.
I think these days, and if you do the just from a straight mathematical standpoint, and I'm not math is not my strong suit,
okay,
but with Uber nowadays, I mean, it really doesn't make sense to go
right.
out and not, if you're going to drink and not take an Uber. I mean, the cheapest attorney
right
is still going to, I mean, you could probably go out. I mean, let's say your Uber ride costs you $20 each way to and from whatever bar you're going to, which
right.
is, I don't think I've ever taken a $20 Uber ride. Typically, it's significantly cheaper. Maybe in New York City. That's the only place that they've been over $20.
I just took one in Dallas, and it was pretty good ways. It was $36.
Okay. Well, sir, there you go. You just
you're
debunked
right.
my little theory there.
Yeah.
But so, just using $20 round trip, $40.
A lot cheaper.
I mean, you have to go out something like, 50, 60 times until you've paid for
attorney,
a cheap attorney. And that's just the attorney. That's not to mention the time off work. You could lose your job because your license might be suspended and you can't get to work. You're going to pay court costs. You're going to pay fees. If you have to put an ignition interlock in your vehicle, there's a maintenance that you have to pay every month in addition to the $200 some odd they charge to install the ignition interlock. It's just
cheaper to take Uber or Lyft, either way.
Or Lyft.
Let's go to break. Running a little late, and we're here with Antonio Valente. His phone number, 786-361-6887, or go to his website at www.valentelaw.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we were talking about before, things that I never knew about checkpoints.
Gotcha. And do you mind if I just add in there also, we have the number for the Broward and Palm Beach office.
Yes, go ahead.
954-634-2764.
Okay, great. So we'll be right back with more Attorney Antonio Valente.
Attorney Antonio Valiente has been chosen as the expert in criminal law by the Ask the Experts radio show. He has extensive experience successfully trying cases ranging from traffic misdemeanors to first-degree murder. Attorney Valiente has successfully argued motions to suppress, stand your ground, motions for new trials, and for judgment of acquittal, and defended clients in pretrial detention and probation violation hearings. Making sure you are represented by the most experienced and competent attorney in your criminal case you may have is essential. Attorney Antonio Valiente emphasizes to all his clients that while he is their attorney, he will guide them through the entire legal process and work together as a team. It is very important that your attorney is available to you to answer any questions you have. Attorney Antonio Valiente handles DUI cases, drug crimes, theft crimes, sex crimes, juvenile crimes, violent crimes, and gun weapons-related crimes. If you get arrested, you need Attorney Valiente on your side. You can contact him at 786-361-6887. That's 786-361-6887. Or go to Attorney Antonio Valiente at valientelaw.com. Attorney Valiente practices in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Dade County.
And we're back. We're here with Attorney Antonio Valiente, and we're going to talk about, which we were talking about before the show, these checkpoints. You told me things about checkpoints that I had no idea. So tell everybody.
Yeah, checkpoints. So there's
They
lot
have
of
to advertise it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So right before before any police department, or a lot of times they do these multi-departmental checkpoints where they'll get several different agencies. In Broward and Palm Beach, you don't have as many different jurisdictions as you do like in Dade County, where you have Dade County Police, but you have
could have the sheriff's department,
South Miami, Doral, Sweetwater, Golden Beach. I mean, I think there's over 50 different jurisdictions. So yes, they do have to they have to add literally put an ad out in the paper in advance of the checkpoint so that people know. Now, if you want to find out whether there's a checkpoint, and easier than looking at the paper is there's apps that you can download on your iPhone or Android.
It tells you where the checkpoints are.
Exactly, and tells you when they're coming up, where they're going to be. Like you said, radio stations you've heard, and you were wondering, wow, how do they know?
How do they know that? Why would they get that information?
It's like they have an in at the police department. No, they actually have to put out that information ahead of time. Don't ask me exactly why that is, but that's statutory.
A couple days before.
It's gonna be at least a week before.
Before, okay.
Then aside from that, the checkpoints themselves have to have specific parameters that they set beforehand in terms of how they're going to, what cars they're going to stop. It can't just be like an officer that's going to stand on the side of the road and, point at a car like, you stop, and let a couple cars go. You, sir, you stop.
So how do they make that determination?
So they have, it sounds kind of like an oxymoron, but it's kind of planned randomness, so to speak, where, for example, they have the shoot method they call it, one of them, where you'll have a two-lane road or highway, both going in one direction. They'll put cones out in the middle, and let's say it's a 5-car shoot. What they'll do is, as soon as they open that checkpoint, the next 5 cars that drive by, there's going to be an officer that's going to direct all of them into the right lane.
Okay.
And they have to stop 5 cars. Once those 5 cars are in the chute and they stop, every other car just has to go by. Police can't stop them. There could be some guy, just swerving, acting crazy. They could be stopped, irrespective of the checkpoint, right? But, they can't stop him. They can't put him as part of the checkpoint. They can only stop those 5 cars. Then you'll typically have at least one officer per car will go up to the window, and it'll just be like a very brief interaction with the driver, make sure that there's no obvious signs of impairment. What they're looking for is slurred speech, bloodshot, watery eyes, flushed face, slurred speech, and bloodshot, watery eyes. Call it the trilogy. It's kind of what they needed for probable cause.
Can you go smell too?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Odor of an alcoholic beverage. Now they can't say, I smelt beer on him, or whiskey or whatever, because technically alcohol is, it doesn't have ethanol. Doesn't have an odor. It's odorless. Okay. So you can smell out. You could smell the odor of an alcoholic beverage, but if you say, well, I smelt beer, and we're getting kind of in the weeds there.
I got
but
you.
They're so that in this brief interaction they'll have with the person to determine, do they see any signs of impairment, do they have a valid license, their registration is valid, etc. If it is, they'll let them go. If not, a lot of times they'll do this next to like a strip mall or somewhere that has a large parking lot, so they can, then the people that they need to, inquire further, or maybe they have probable cause to have them get out of their vehicle and ask them to do field sobriety exercises. They'll have them do them there. Once all the cars have cleared the chute, either because they were, further pulled over or let go, then from that moment, again, the next 5 cars have to fill it up.
So they don't stop anybody until all 5, they're finished with all 5 cars.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do they usually set up at? Is it on the highway, on the interstates, on a busy, like, for example, we have 441.
Yeah, so
State Highway. Where do they normally set up at?
Typically, it's not on interstates, because on interstates, it would be Florida Highway Patrol jurisdiction. You're going to find it more busy areas in that, in that city, nearby some large intersections, near somewhere, not on Las Olas, but maybe, nearby in Miami Beach.
In
Miami Beach, you'll see them like on the MacArthur Causeway sometimes going to the beach, sometimes leaving the beach. I mean, It's not always one, it's not always one or the other.
But if it's a checkpoint, they have to advertise when they're going to be set up and where.
Right. And not just that, but then that at the checkpoint itself, before you get to the checkpoint, there has to be a sign, and usually it's just one of those like mobile street signs that they'll, with like a trailer put up that has that'll alert you to construction, and it has to tell you that there's that you're coming up on a DUI checkpoint. So kind of further letting you know that DUI checkpoint's coming up. What they don't have to let you know, but what I think is one of probably the best piece of information that I could give about checkpoints
We've got a couple minutes.
Yeah, checkpoint. So there has to be a way for you to, once they've given, once you've been alerted to the fact that there's a checkpoint because there's a sign flashing, or there's a sign that there's a checkpoint coming up, there has to be a way for you to get out of
going through the checkpoint.
Of going through the checkpoint, exactly, where you can make a U-turn, where you can make a left turn, a right turn, some way for you to legally avoid the checkpoint. And I know it sounds completely counterintuitive.
If they see you do that, can they come after you?
Right. So they specifically cannot stop you. Let's say that the way to avoid a particular checkpoint is at a stop sign you can make a left turn. So you go and you take that left turn. You cannot be pulled over.
Wow.
For taking that left turn. Now, let's say you didn't come to a complete stop.
Right.
You didn't signal, or you committed some other traffic violation. You can be stopped. However, your choice to take that the exit route can't be used as the reason to stop you. And but the cops know this, and they know that most people don't know about this. So whatever that, again, using the example of the left turn, that's your way to avoid the checkpoint or the U-turn. They'll park a cruiser right there at that left turn and make sure that that there's a cruiser. So most people will think, well, can I get out of this? Yeah, look, there's a left turn. No, there's a cop right there. So you think, most people would think, well, no, I can't get out of this, because if I make a left turn, they're going to pull me over. But
this has been the fastest 30 minutes in radio. Let's give everybody, first of all, give them your website.
It's www.valientelaw.com, VALIENTELAW.com.
And you've got 2 phone numbers. You got one for Dade and one for Broward and Palm Beach. What are they?
That's correct. We have our Miami office is 786-361-6887. And our Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach office number's 954-634-2764.
And Antonio's going to be back with us again next month. Thanks for coming in. I love having you live in studio. And we still haven't gotten near all the questions that we had. We'll see you next month, and we'll be telling you when Antonio's going to be on. We're going to go to break right now, and when we come back, we've got our anti-aging show. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Steve.
Attorney Antonio Valiente has been chosen as the expert in criminal law by the Ask the Experts radio show. He has extensive experience successfully trying cases ranging from traffic misdemeanors to first-degree murder. Attorney Valiente has successfully argued motions to suppress, stand your ground, motions for new trials, and for judgment of acquittal, and defended clients in pretrial detention and probation violation hearings. Making sure you are represented by the most experienced and competent attorney in your criminal case you may have is essential. Attorney Antonio Valiente emphasizes to all his clients that while he is their attorney, he will guide them through the entire legal process and work together as a team. It is very important that your attorney is available to you to answer any questions you have. Attorney Antonio Valiente handles DUI cases, drug crimes, theft crimes, sex crimes, juvenile crimes, violent crimes, and gun weapons-related crimes. If you get arrested, you need Attorney Valiente on your side. You can contact him at 786-361-6887. That's 786-361-6887. Or go to Attorney Antonio Valiente at valientelaw.com. Attorney Valiente practices in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Dade County. The Anti-Aging Wellness Clinic is the leading international medical group with treatment centers in key medical tourist destinations. Currently, they have 2 treatment centers in Costa Rica, 1 in Tijuana, Mexico, and a 4th under construction in Panama. Their treatment centers are staffed by the most experienced anti-aging team in the Latin America region. The physicians are board certified by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. The centers concentrate in many different anti-aging therapies: bioidentical hormone replacement, BHRT, facial and skin rejuvenation, medical weight loss, as well as vitamins and supplements. Human growth hormone replacement for AGHD is one of our leading treatments. The Anti-Aging and Wellness Clinic's mission is to safely and effectively get their patients on the fast track to optimal wellness. By doing so, ultimately helping them to avoid unnecessary common age-related chronic diseases plaguing the United States. The health of Americans, and the U.S. healthcare system specifically, is spiraling out of control. Costs are growing and in many cases not affordable for elective procedures. With an overweight, obesity epidemic approaching 70%, chronic diseases are growing more rapidly than the healthcare system can support. To learn what they can do differently for you, go to antiagecr.com or call 800-657-7950.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Experts, where we bring you experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. I love today because I am 60-ish.